Hello, my name is Bishop Dr. Samuel Noy Mensah. I'm the president of the Samuel Mensah Ministries and the chairman of the board of trustees of Full Gospel Church International. The title of my latest book is 300 Vision Quotes, Deep Reflections for Transformational Leadership. And these are quotes I put together after 46 years of ministry and what life has taught me. My life and everything that I've done around my life has been regulated by vision. Because for me, vision is the starting point. The wisest man who ever lived, King Solomon, said, where there is no vision, the people perish. And when there is a vision, people will have a meaningful life. So I put together 300 of these quotes. And I'll be sharing with you the principles from this book. And I believe that you will be blessed, regardless of wherever you find yourself, whether in political leadership, religious leadership, academia, wherever you find an entrepreneur. There are principles that will guide you, including your children and including the youth also. So join me as we share some of these principles and what it will bring to your life. I'll be right back. Now for chapter 1, I'll be looking at the nature of vision. And this nature of vision in my book actually covers what vision is, why leaders need it, and how vision actually can shape your destiny. And actually, what is the difference between vision and sight? All right. So we will look at these things, and I'm trusting that you will be blessed. In this particular chapter of my book, it provides the power of vision and the role vision actually plays in our destiny and the fact that vision shapes our destiny. So these quotes, I strongly believe, will help you see vision as a guiding force that will define your direction, inspires your action, and distinguishes leaders from followers. So let's look at the first quote in chapter 1. Vision is born when a leader refuses to accept the world as it is and dares to imagine what it must become. Let me pick that again, and the quote will be on your screen. Vision is born when a leader refuses to accept the world as it is and dares to imagine what it must become. So vision begins with a conscious refusal to accept mediocrity. You see, it is the courage to challenge the status quo and to imagine a better future. For example, Nelson Mandela refused apartheid and he envisioned a reconciled nation shaping South Africa's destiny. Unfortunately, the people in South Africa have refused to appreciate the role the rest of Africa played for them to attain independence. And today, xenophobia is all over. But vision actually challenges the status quo. When you have a vision, it will challenge the current situation you find yourself. Vision will challenge the current state and ask, why not a better future state? Let me repeat that again. Vision will challenge your current state and will challenge the current state of any situation and will ask the question, why can't we be better? Why can't we have a better future state? For example, how can a nation like Ghana, next year, 2027, Ghana will be 70 years after independence. And still, Ghana is struggling with schools under trees. A real vision will challenge that status. A real vision will challenge the status quo, that it is unacceptable. After 70 years of our independence, we still have schools under trees. Recently, I came across a video of a group of students traveling on a canoe from one small town to another, being guided and aided by the teacher who has been with them for about 10 years or so. And in sometimes when the teacher is busy and they can't find a canoe, these kids will have to climb a tree from one bank of the river to another. This is totally unacceptable in this 21st century. Whether you're a young man, a middle-aged person, an elderly person, if you have a vision for a better life, vision will demand that there must be change. Real vision will challenge and ask the question, how can pregnant mothers still give birth on tables and benches, and sometimes, in most cases, they give birth on the floor in our hospitals? Not just a district hospital, but sometimes in the hospitals we call our prime hospitals, the teaching hospitals. Real vision will challenge the status quo, that this is unacceptable, this can't continue. Vision would question why this yearly man-made flood destroying life and property. Year after year, I came across one of the daily graphic newspapers, I think somewhere in 1963, where it was captioned, the floods are here again. And you can just remove 1963 and then insert 2026. The story by the Daily Graphic in 1963 is no different, or 1966 is no different from the case and the situation we are faced now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is totally unacceptable to accept the status quo of 1966, the situation of 1966 concerning floods in Accra and other part of the nation. It is unacceptable to accept what happened in 1966 in 2026. This is unacceptable. So a man and a woman with a vision will rise up to challenge the status quo. A real vision will question, why do we watch to poison our farmlands? Why do we watch to poison our farm produce? Real vision will ask the question, why poison our water bodies when we know in the next 10 years from now, 2026, in the next 10 years from now, 2036, we will be importing water. And yet, our political leaders don't bother, don't care. It's not about their business. It must be the business of ordinary young men and women on the street. It must be the business of our students in the universities. It must be the business of our students in all our universities, the young men and women in our universities of today. 10 years from now, you are the guys who are going to suffer. You are the guys going to pay the price. You are the people and the generation that you are going to suffer if you do nothing about the state of affairs. So real vision will challenge the status quo. Vision is indeed born when a leader refuses to accept the world as it is. Question: what vision is burning in your heart and in your life? Don't accept your state of condition as the will of God. Have a vision for a better life. Just don't say that, well, that's okay, I will take it like that. That's the Ghanaian concept. I will take it like that. Real vision will challenge the state of your life, and then you can tell yourself, I can be better than this. The vision statement from this book is challenging you that when you have real vision, you refuse to accept your own world as it is. And you would not say that this is the will of God. The will of God is for you to have a better life. The will of God for this nation is to have good drinking water. The will of God for this nation is that our mothers and our sisters and our wives would not give birth to the next generation on the floor of any hospital. The will of God is that there shouldn't be any school under trees. The will of God is that students should not travel on a boat from their community to another community to go to have better education. The will of God that every Ghanaian will have a decent home. The will of God that every Ghanaian will have a better life. The will of God is that we will have political leaders who will think about the well-being of our people. That is the will of God. So whoever tells you that the will of God is that you will suffer and that you wouldn't have a better life, then he doesn't know what the will of God is. Because the will of God tells us that I wish above all things you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So that suggests that, petty diseases or any ordinary disease that can just, in other developed nations, will not kill you, should not kill you in today's Ghana. That is the will of God. The will of God is that you wouldn't be driven away when you get to the hospital in an emergency. That is the will of God. So the will of God is that we would have better homes, better hospitals, better schools, better education. That is the will of God for you. And that is why you should not accept the state of affairs that it is okay for us. The will of God is that we will have better rules. The will of God is that all regions in Ghana will have first-class teaching hospitals. That is the will of God. The will of God is that we will have political leaders and leaders who are passionate about Ghana and would sacrifice for the betterment and the future of our country. That is the will of God. And that is the vision that God wants you to have a better life, to have a better future. Thank you for making time to be with me today. I will see you in the next video.